Hello people, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are killing it. I hope you guys are having a great time. This is your friend Ashish and I'm back with another interesting lesson. Today we are going to look at another non-finite verb, that is participle. So today we are going to learn everything about present participles. What is a present participle, how to use it, where does it come in a sentence, and every little thing about it. So this lesson is gonna be very informative, very interesting. Make sure you watch it till the end. We are gonna dive in very deep. And guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well for daily English lessons. To have you guys there would be pretty awesome. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Let's do this. Alright guys, now let us understand what is a present participle. A present participle is nothing but an ing form of a verb ending with ing that can work as an action verb, as a gerund, that means a noun, and as an adjective, right? Let me show you some examples and make you understand. He is teaching English. Here, teaching is working as an action verb. It's working as a main verb. He is doing an action of what? Teaching. He is teaching. He is performing an action. So here, teaching is working as an action verb. Next example. Teaching is my passion. Here, teaching is working as a gerund. That means teaching is working as a noun, working as the subject of the sentence. Next example. He is doing a teaching job. He is doing a teaching job. Here, teaching is working as an adjective, modifying the noun job. What kind of a job he's doing? He's doing a teaching job. Right? So teaching is working as an adjective here, modifying the noun job. Sometimes it can work as an adverb too. Let me show you an example. He spent his life teaching students. He spent his life teaching students. So teaching here is working as an adverb, modifying the verb spent. He spent his life in what way? Teaching students. So guys, a participle can work as a verb, as a gerund, and also as an adjective. But we are only going to focus on participles working as adjectives in this lesson. All right. So in this lesson, we are going to look at how participles work as adjectives and sometimes as adverbs. So guys, when a present participle works as an adjective in a sentence, it can take the following positions. It can come just before the noun it modifies. It can come just after the noun it modifies. It can also come in the beginning of the sentence, and it can also come at the end of the sentence. All right. So we are going to look at all these cases one by one. Let's start with a present participle coming just before the noun it modifies. Example number 1. India is one of the developing countries in the world. India is one of the developing countries in the world. Developing here is our present participle working as an adjective. Why? Because it is modifying the noun countries. What kind of countries? Developing countries. Countries that are developing. So it's modifying the noun countries. You guys can also use an adjective before this participle, present participle, that's working as an adjective. Let me show you how. You can also say India is one of the top developing countries in the world. All right, let's look at the next example. Many innocent people died in the burning train. Many innocent people died in the burning train. What kind of train? Burning train. So here, burning is the present participle ending with ing. That's modifying the noun train. What kind of train? Burning train. Next example. A laughing man always looks better than a crying man. That's true, right? A laughing man looks always better than a crying man. So laughing and crying are present participles that are modifying the noun man. What kind of man? Laughing man. What kind of man? Crying man. Now guys, it is very important to understand that you simply cannot use any verb ending with ing before a noun and modifying it. That has to make sense. And how do you guys know whether the present participle that you use before the noun it modifies works as a modifier, works as an adjective? This is something that you guys have to try. So let's do one thing guys. We have a couple of verbs ending with ing. Let us place these verbs in place of all these present participles and see whether these present participles make sense or not. Growing. India is one of the growing countries in the world. Makes sense, right? One of the growing countries. A country can grow, right? Many innocent people died in the growing train. Does it make sense now? It does not make any sense here. A train cannot be growing, right? So it does not make any sense. That's what I'm saying. You gotta figure it out whether a verb ending with ing makes sense with a noun or not. Let's look at the next example. A growing man always looks better than a growing man. Yes, a man can grow, so you can use this word growing with the noun man. It would make sense. Let's take one more verb and try to put in place of the present participle. Wearing. India is one of the wearing countries in the world. Does it make sense here? No, a country cannot wear anything. A country is not a person that can wear something, right? So it does not make any sense here. Many innocent people died in the wearing train. It does not make any sense here. A wearing man always looks better than a wearing man. It does not make sense here, right? It looks odd here. So guys, what I'm trying to show you here is that not all the verbs ending with ing can be used as present participles. Yes, they can, but they have to be used with the right noun. All right, you just cannot use any verb ending with ing with any of the nouns, right? That has to make sense. And how do you figure that out? You have to try. Now let us look at the second case where it comes just after the noun it modifies. And when it comes just after the noun it modifies, it is generally a participle phrase. It is always more than one word. It can be one word, but it is generally more than one word. Let me show you some examples. The guy shouting in anger has a drinking problem. Which guy? Shouting in anger. So shouting in anger is our present participle phrase starting with the present participle shouting. Which guy? Shouting in anger. Guys, a very important fact here. A present participle phrase that comes just after a noun is basically made out of a relative clause. It is actually a reduced relative clause. Let me show you how. This sentence can be written as the guy who is shouting in anger has a drinking problem. So who is shouting in anger is a relative clause. That's modifying the noun the guy. So guys, we can make a present participle phrase out of a relative clause. What we have to do is we simply have to remove the relative pronoun and the auxiliary verb. So what are we going to do? We are going to remove the relative pronoun who and the auxiliary verb is. Now it comes down to the guy shouting in anger has a drinking problem. It just means the same thing. Alright, let me show you more examples. A man willing to face hardships always wins the game. A man, what kind of man? Who is willing to face hardships? Willing to face hardships always wins the game. So willing to face hardships is our present participle phrase starting with the present participle willing. Alright, what kind of a man? Willing to face hardships. And now you guys know this present participle phrase is made out of a relative clause. This can be written as a man who is willing to face hardships always wins the game. Let's look at the next example. I've never seen a man working as hard as him. I've never seen a man, what kind of a man? Working as hard as him. So working as hard as him is a present participle phrase starting with the present participle working, modifying the noun a man. What kind of a man? Working as hard as him. And you guys know this is a reduced relative clause. This can be written as I have never seen a man who is working as hard as him. Now one more important thing guys. A present participle also comes after the object of some verbs of perception. And when it does, it works as an object complement. Why? Because it gives information about the object. It modifies the object. Let me show you some examples. I saw you watching the movie. I saw you watching the movie. Watching is working as a present participle here, modifying the object you. It is telling us the state of the object. The object was watching the movie. It's giving information about the object. I saw you in what state? Watching the movie. Let me show you one more example. She heard Max saying something bad about me. She heard Max saying something bad about me. So saying is our present participle here, working as an object complement, because it's giving information about the object Max. She heard Max in what state saying something. Now guys, one more interesting thing. What is the difference between these two sentences? I saw you watching the movie. I saw you watch the movie. Let me tell you, both these sentences are correct and give different meanings. I saw you watching the movie is different from I saw you watch the movie. When you use a bare infinitive after the object of these verbs of perception, it means you watched or saw the complete action from the beginning to the end. So when I say I saw you watch the movie, it means I saw the complete action. When you started watching the movie, from the time I saw you complete the action. Alright? I saw you do the complete action. But when I say I saw you watching the movie, it simply means when I saw you, you were watching the movie and that's it. I did not see you get it completed. Now let us look at the third case where it comes in the beginning of the sentence. Now guys, a present participle is used when two different actions are happening at the same time simultaneously by the same person. And when it is the case, we can use present participle with any other actions. Let me show you how. Listening to her favorite music, she cooked the food. So guys, two actions are happening here. Listening to the music and cooking the food. These two actions are happening at the same time by the same person. You must have been in cases, in situations where you're doing multiple actions at the same time, like eating and listening to music, eating and talking, right? Driving and talking to somebody, right? We do get in situations where doing multiple actions at the same time. This is one of the cases where we're doing multiple actions at the same time. So we can use present participle with any of these actions. Listening to her favorite music, this is the present participle phrase. Starting with the present participle listening, she cooked the food. I can also say cooking the food, she listened to the music. I can say that, right? Now guys, it's a very formal structure, it's a very formal sentence. Another way to say it would be while listening to her favorite music, she cooked the food. We use a present participle in the beginning of a sentence to avoid the conjunction, right? I could have said while listening to her favorite music, she cooked the food. I could have said while she was listening to her favorite music, she cooked the food. But no, I'm going to use a present participle phrase and say listening to her favorite music, she cooked the food. Let me give you one more example. Talking to himself, he walked down the road. Talking to himself, he walked down the road. Now, he did two actions at the same time. Talking to himself and walking down the road. We're using a present participle with the action talking, right? We could also say walking down the road, he talked to himself. But guys, when two actions are happening one after another without much delay by the same person, obviously, we use present participle with the first action. So a lot of times we do the first action and just after the first action, we do the second action, right? So in these cases, we use present participle with the first action. Let's take some examples. Looking at the results, she started crying. That happens with a lot of students, right? Looking at the results. So that means she looked at the results first and then performed the second action. Then happened the second action, that is crying. Looking at the results, she started crying. That's a very formal structure. That's a very formal sentence. You could also say, after looking at the results, she started crying. Or after she looked at the results, she started crying. So basically, we're avoiding using the conjunction here, right? Let's take one more example. Seeing the teacher, all the students got silent. That's exactly happens in a class, right? When the teacher comes, everybody gets silent. That's exactly what's happening here. Seeing the teacher, all the students got silent. So this is the first action that happened. Students saw the teacher. When this action happened the second action, which is students got silent. You could also say after seeing the teacher, all the students got silent. Let us take one more example. Not knowing who I was, he slapped me. He slapped the heck out of me. All right, he did. Anyway, Here we have a negative present participle. That means we have not before the present participle. Not knowing who I was, this happened first, happened the second action, which is slapping me. We could also say, since he did not know me, he slapped me. All right. So hope you got it. When you have two actions happening one after another by the same person, always use present participle with the first action. Now we are going to look at the case 4 where we have a present participle at the end of a sentence. Let's take some examples. You guys are interesting. You guys are interesting. So interesting is our present participle, modifying the noun you guys. How you guys are interesting. So it's telling us your quality, how you guys are interesting. Next example. My cousin is very dominating. My cousin is. So dominating is our present participle, modifying the noun my cousin, working as an adjective. So you can also use an adverb or another adjective before a present participle, right? Like I did. My cousin is very dominating, highly dominating, excessively dominating, right? So that's how we can use a present participle at the end of a sentence. Now let me show you some examples of present participles working as an adverb. Yes, you heard me right. It can also work as an adverb. Let me show you some examples. He spent his entire life helping the poor. Helping is a present participle, right? Now, if I say it's working as an adverb, you guys will ask me how. Let me tell you how. Here, helping is modifying the verb spent. He spent his life how? Helping the poor. That's the way he spent his life. So isn't it giving more information about the verb spent? He spent his entire life in what way? Helping the poor. The poor means all the poor people. All right. He spent his entire life helping the poor. Let's look at the next example. You guys should give it a shot, not thinking about the results. So not thinking about the results is our present participle phrase working as an adverb, modifying the verb give. Telling us in what manner you guys should give it a shot. To give something a shot basically means to try it out. So you guys should give it a shot in what manner? Not thinking about the results. Just do not think about the results. Just give it a shot. Just do your thing. This is what it means. Let me show you one more example. You are wasting a lot of time thinking about the results. You are wasting a lot of time. How? Thinking about the results. In what manner? Why are you wasting a lot of time thinking about the results, right? So thinking is our present participle working as an adverb, modifying the verb wasting. You are wasting a lot of time. How? Why? Because you are thinking about the results, right? Let me show you one more example. Being honest, I got the job. I got the job. Reason? Because I was being honest, right? So being honest is our present participle phrase telling us the reason why I got the job. Why I got the job? Because I was being honest. Being honest, I got the job. So guys, that was about today's lesson. I hope you really enjoyed this lesson. I hope I made it really easy. I hope now you know what is a present participle, how do we use it, where does it come in a sentence, and everything about it. I hope I made it easy. If I did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to hit the bell icon. Why? Because when you hit the bell icon, you get notified every single time I publish a video. Alright, so you don't have to search my lessons. And share this video with all your friends, all the family members, all the people that you know can be benefited out of this lesson. And guys, I want you to make some sentences using all the cases that we have learned in this lesson. I will personally check all your answers and will tell you if you made some mistakes. And I'll see you in the next lesson. Till then, keep learning. Have fun. I'm out.